All right, and welcome to another episode of Super Sound Showcase. My name is Tim, and we are sponsored by Culture Fix today. But we have a very special guest. We have Kyle Davis in the studio. How's it going?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, anytime. So your history is actually pretty impressive. So not only do you have 5 studio albums to your name, right?
Yep.
You also got a nod from Billboard magazine as one of the best unsigned artists.
Yeah, and originally coming out, yes.
Yeah. And you also had the pleasure of working with Phil Ramone and Don Dixon.
Yeah. I would think I was telling you before. I was calling Dixon on the way here to ask him a couple of questions about something and doing a little project together. But that was an amazing opportunity. It's always been amazing. I've worked with Don for like 25 years, and we're also great friends. And Phil. That was amazing, really also because he's such a part of pop music history in this country and the development of pop music. It was amazing, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, before we go and dive down that rabbit hole, why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Well, I started off a long, long time ago, and a singer-songwriter, made 4 or 5 records, and took a little break and came back, about 2 years ago and started making a new record. And I came out with it this winter. We put it out. It's called Make It Count. And I put a lot of time into this record. I'm pretty slow anyway. I'm slow in writing and slow in finishing songs, but it took me an extra long time. But a lot had occurred in like 10 years. And a lot of really, really important things. And not just to me, but to the people around me and the people that I'm closely associated with, and people integrally that kind of move in and out of your life. So there was a lot to kind of process and
sure.
And
especially if you're drawing emotional impacts from your own experiences into your song. I mean, it's I would say another level of complexity. It
is, because you want to figure out how to say that and how to say certain things. The interesting thing is that there were some things that were changing really as I wrote the songs, some situations, and so the song would literally change, because some songs were kind of being written over the course of like 2 or 3 years. Mm-hmm. And the situations would change. And I say, if you can't write songs in the middle of life, you can't write songs, because really a lot happens between friends and friends' health, your parents, the world. A tremendous amount had occurred, so there's a lot to write about, a lot that impacts you personally, and your family. So it's
absolutely. So and you mentioned you took a break for a little bit and now are coming back into it. Yeah. What sort of drew you back?
Well, really, the only reason I wanted to make a record is because I felt like I had songs that I really wanted to write. I had things that I really wanted to say, and I felt like they were kind of important. And even though they were personal in nature, I still felt like anybody can really, to a large degree, put their time stamp in there, and it can be pretty much in some way their life also. I mean, I felt like, when you're young and you're on record labels and there's a lot of pressure, and
it's very glamorous as well.
Yeah. And so, I had to write songs. I had to write certain kinds of songs. And I know, I feel like I was authentic, but this record, hey, I paid for it. It was as authentic as it could get. I used to tour a lot with Shawn Colvin. She's a singer-songwriter, just really, really great. Actually, she's just such an honest singer-songwriter. She's fantastic. You probably would know a bunch of her. She's had a bunch of hits. She's kind of Sheryl Crowish, but she's just so bare bones honest. And I thought about that, and some of Shawn's songs gave me some inspiration.
Yeah. So how does this new album compare or contrast to some of the older stuff you've done? Because it sounds like there's a lot more sort of going on in that break, and it's almost like a shotgun blast of an album. Or
Yeah, I think I wrote songs. I think I was a songwriter before, and I think some of them were personal things that I saw, and a lot of times it's things I see in other people. And somebody asked me about the things I would be most interested in writing about. What are the most grandiose things that I'd be? It was almost a question like that. It was a interview recently, and I said probably the most interesting thing for me to write about is somebody as a person that does the most with the least. That is probably the theme that I go back to, and it's kind of a little more the poor in spirit, the ones who were kind of slogging through, which we all do at certain times. But your question was the difference. The difference was these were like things that I really had to get out and say. I really wanted to say, and I'll explain a little bit of it when I play some of these songs.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, that kind of brings me to my next point. What songs are you going to be playing today?
I don't know. I thought maybe I'd play this song called "Not Broken," and maybe I'll play "Stay," and I'll play a couple songs from this new record. I really wanted to. I mean, I could any of them. I mean, they all basically they're written for a reason. But like I said, it's interesting. Songs, their meanings to me kind of change a little bit as I go on. What the song encompasses kind of grows.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
Absolutely. It evolves. I mean, it's all a process. And that, I would say my next question would be, what is your songwriting process, or is there one, or is it something that kind of just evolves and happens?
For some reason, it's pretty much always the music.
Music first.
Mm-hmm. And then I'll have an idea, a lyrical idea, and I try to come in with a hook and the chorus, and then a lot of times by the end of the song doesn't really resemble the early song. I mean, it changes so much.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those guys, like somebody was saying Dolly Parton wrote "I Will Always Love You" and Jolene in the same night.
Yeah.
That's like unbelievable.
Oh yeah. Well, Dolly Parton.
Yeah, Dolly's unbelievable.
Well, so next is, with all this COVID stuff going around, obviously it's hard for musicians, it's hard for crew, it's hard to even get out and play these days. How have you been adjusting?
Well, I'm playing a little bit again, but I've been doing things like, as I was saying, we have this really incredible theater in Hopewell called the Beacon Theater. It's like a small version of the National. It holds about 700. And so I've been doing Zoom interviews on some TV stations, and I did a songwriters night out in Nashville, and I did something for a 501 charity, and so I've been doing as many of those things as I can do. Mm-hmm. And I did a thing in Richmond, which is really awesome, that In Your Ear, Robin Thompson, Carlos Chafin's old studio, they have a thing called Shaco Sessions. Mm-hmm. And it was really fun a couple of weeks ago. It's just really awesome. It's hosted by Reese Williams, and I just did that. So lots of things have been coming up. I'd love to get out and play to humans.
Yeah. Side note, the studio over at In Your Ear is amazing.
Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic.
Carlos is a great guy.
Yeah.
I knew him for a while. But yeah, so I don't want to put it off any longer. Let's jump right into the music here after a quick word from our sponsors.
93.5 The Bird.
All right, and welcome back to Super Sound Showcase. My name again is Tim. We are sponsored by Culture Fix. Man. But we are here with Kyle Davis. So what are you going to be playing for us today?
Well, I was thinking, I think I'll start off with this. So a lot of the record I said is personal. This, it's really apolitical, but it is the Statue of Liberty, and it's her take on the fact that she's saying, hey, I'm tired of holding this flame. It's a little heavy. People aren't really helping me out. And I thought I was going to make a difference, but, old habits just kind of, they're too hard to break. And so she's like, I may move out west. I may hike or paint or do something fun. So I researched her a little bit, and I guess it was originally Bedloe Island was what it was called, which she's on. And so she says, I'm taking off. So it's called Old Habits.
All right, well, take it away.
Being forgotten words, being alone. You fade to petite up, and they all assume you're stone. I was born in France, still have friends, but they've changed. And Bedloe Island feels more like my cage. What good is a crown? I'm not the queen of anything. And I don't know why this flame is such a heavy weight. I don't know why the world ain't giving more than it takes. Thought I could change some things, but old habits are hard to break. I'm not shooting fish in a barrel, I've denied it. I might try art, I hear Picasso's dead, well he's dying. I wanna be a wild heart and wander through the western worlds. I don't ever look back, but I'm feeling the cracks. All this anger is like drink for drowning men. And I don't know why this flame is such a heavy weight. I don't know why the world ain't giving more than it takes. Thought I could change some things, but old habits are hard to break. I've been your light to ships from shore. I received your tide and pour. It's not me anymore. We stumbled through since the war. Had enough and wanted more. Then we repeated ourselves again. And I don't know why. I don't know why this flame is such a heavy weight. I wanna give more than I take, but old habits are hard to break. I wanna give more than I take. Somebody help me carry my day. Thank you.
That was awesome. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for having me and let me play these tunes.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's next?
I was gonna do Not Broken.
Okay.
Yeah, yep. And can I tell you just a little bit?
Absolutely, yeah.
So it's kind of interesting. So I still say it's really about anything in life that, it's about change, and it's about we all have to figure out as we're moving, what we take with us, what we leave behind, what we change. And I'll tell you, we'd been through a ton of change in my family. We moved not far, but we moved from our house that we had been in for a long time. And so my kids were going through all of their stuff, and it was just very traumatic because it's a great, great neighborhood. At the same time, I'd hung on to my dad's house for a few years, and I was going through all of my stuff, like literally the same week. And one of my daughters she's nearly just like had a breakdown. And I was like, I get it. It's difficult. It's difficult. And I think that represented a lot more change. And so, it's trying to figure out, where the fractures are and if they're healable, Right. So. Child, scared of losing more. Little princess in these halls. You know how light hits your walls, and every car on this dead-end street. And the things that make us so complete. Well, we stayed up all night long, talked of how these changes have come, laughed at things we'd seen, and wondered what becomes of dreams. And I've made my share of mistakes, but I'll catch you when you fall. And every move carries weight, and I'm still getting better. You're only mine for a while. And every miss feels like a mile. I think I know just how you feel, living things I left behind. I went back for good find. I remember feeling too young to die, but I'm older now, and I've made my share of mistakes, but I'll catch you when you fall. And every move carries weight, but I still wanna be better. You're only mine for a while. And every miss still feels like mine. And doors will open up that locked us out, build our dreams and remove our doubts. Days endure, attempts to cure each other's parts that are not broken, and you are not broken. And I've made my share of mistakes, but I will catch you when you fall. Every move carries weight. I still wanna get better. You're only mine for a while. And every miss feels like a mile. Every miss feels like a mile. You
Wow, that was beautiful. That was great.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and thank you for coming in.
I had a great time. You guys were awesome.
Oh,
You
well,
guys were very awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
absolutely, likewise. So, last but certainly not least, is there anywhere for our fan or your fans to find you online? Or
Yeah, you can go. We keep having to add more letters, but you can go to KyleWDavisMusic.com, Kyle W. Davis Music at Facebook or Instagram, and check it out on Spotify and Amazon, and if you want to support indie artists making records, which is expensive, download the record if you like it, and it's on Apple and Amazon. I would love to, and if you own a club here, call me and I'll come down and play because I have a free summer now after all the
Yeah, for
gigs.
sure.
But anyway, I had a great time. Thank y'all.
Absolutely. All right. Well, this has been Super Sound Showcase. I am Tim again. We are sponsored by Culture Fix, and we'll see you next week.